Good morning and welcome everyone to this last day of my week of Subversive. Little confession, I'm actually going to be cheating. I had all the best intentions to film my last video for this series yesterday and then do a pet pairing today, but I felt super fucking tired yesterday. So instead I just took my NARS Climax palette and did like a basic neutral look, and that was the end of it. So what I'm going to do today is I'm going to mash up the week of Subversive with a pet pairing, and we're going to revisit a pairing that I've done before. I want to stick to the Subversive theme, so I'm going to pair Subversive with Baby Subversive again. So at least we're sticking to the Subversive, okay? That's the best I can do for you. At the risk of repeating myself, I'm actually going to start doing my makeup in the meantime, grabbing Glow Last by Auric. With the risk of repeating myself, I have done many videos with the Subversive palette on my channel during my ranking, in my pet pairing series, in my Project 5 wears. So there is no lack of inspiration when it comes to this palette on this channel, but it's just that I have been cracking my head what to do that is something I have not done before, and there's very little that I can think of, and I reached the conclusion that most of it just seems too repetitive and too derivative, and you know, maybe I'm just in my own head about it and you wouldn't think that, you wouldn't feel that way, but I do, which, you know, kind of makes me feel a bit panicky about like, oh god, what kind of combination am I going to do today? I can't think of anything that's unique and I haven't done before, so I panic and I don't enjoy the process, and I'd rather enjoy whatever it is that I'm doing on this channel, because this channel is not supposed to be my job, it's supposed to be my hobby. Anywho, I think you can understand, and that is all that I'm going to say on the topic. I'm grabbing my Clarins Instant Concealer, which I recently depotted, as I mentioned in a video a couple of videos ago, thinking that it's almost finished, and then I squeezed out 5 years worth of product, so here we are, stuck with this concealer for the rest of my days. So this has been my first week back at work since I spent about 2 weeks in quarantine because I had COVID. I think I survived pretty well. I've been making really long days at work, which I didn't expect that I would be able to do, but I've also been feeling really tired. Like I said, yesterday I felt really tired, and this morning Nicola woke us up at 6:30 and I was like, oh no. And even though I don't feel as tired as I did yesterday, because, you know, I've got the energy to film a video this morning, which I didn't have yesterday, I'm still like kind of looking forward to the weekend and relaxing a little bit. Aside from work, I actually have a social activity today. I'm going to go out with some of my colleagues to a restaurant because one of us had her birthday recently. So I need something that will last a pretty long day. So I'm going to take my Estee Lauder Double Wear Light Foundation, a discontinued foundation that you cannot really find already for many years. But I adopted this tiny bit that's left in this tub from my friend Alice. And I think I should probably finish it soon because she probably had it for a while. And like I said, this foundation has been gone for quite a few years now, so I shouldn't keep it in my collection for too long out of fear that it will go bad. I've actually never had a makeup product go bad on me. Have you guys ever had a makeup product go bad on you? I've never had a lipstick go off or a foundation go off or any sort of like makeup product go off on me. I don't think so, not even lip balm. I have a notoriously morbid lip balm in my collection, an open one and a couple of unopened ones. And the open one I've had for a good, I think I want to say 1.5 to 2 years, and it's still perfect. I don't know, maybe I've been very lucky, and maybe now that I say this I'm going to jinx myself and a bunch of things are going to go off at the same time. But even products that people have said go off very quickly, like Tom Ford lipsticks, I've had mine for like 3-4 years now and they're still fine. I have lipsticks and eyeshadow palettes that a lot of people would consider old, which, to be honest with you, when people grab a palette from 3 years ago and they say that this palette is super old, I'm like, well, what is wrong with you? If it's 10 years old, it's old and it's probably still fine, but a 3-year-old palette is practically a new palette for me. So apparently I have very different standards when it comes to what would be considered old makeup in one's collection. I'm going to grab my Hourglass Ambient Lighting Powder in the shade Dim Light now to set my face. So even though I have foundations that are 3-4 years old, eyeshadow palettes that are at least 7 to 8 years old, and a number of other products like lipsticks from the original Vice lipstick release in 2016. I still have all of them. I smell each one of them when I open it and try to use it nowadays, and they're still fine. I don't know if it helps that once a year I do sterilize my lipsticks with 70% ethanol, but I don't always remember to do it, and ethanol wouldn't make the hugest difference if a component like an ingredient in the product goes off. So it's very, you know, I consider myself pretty lucky that I haven't had to toss something because it went bad. For a bronzer, I'm going to grab my cream bronzer from Fenty Beauty in the shade Honey Glaze. I'm going for somewhat warmer products on my cheeks today. How have you been? How was your week? I'm so happy that you've been enjoying the week of Subversive so much. I think we're just going to randomly go through all the motherships now and do a week off when I feel like it, basically. I don't know. I don't think I will do it like 1 week after the other. It will just be like spontaneously in the moment when I feel like, oh, I haven't used this palette in a while and I would really like to revisit it. I will do a week off again. And I will not do it in order. I mean, we started with Mothership 3, who knows, maybe the next one will be Mothership 7, which will be an interesting choice because Mothership 7 is a palette that I cannot see myself using every day for 5 days straight, so that will be quite a challenge for me. For my blush today, I'm going to grab one of my beautiful new blushes from Suku. This is in their melting powder formula, and this is the shade 05. Beautiful color, beautiful formula, and I just wanted to demo it once again for you. I had a video where I demoed both of the colors that I purchased, but in that video I applied the blush on only one of my cheeks, and I feel like it's better to judge a product when it's used to its full capacity so that you can appreciate how beautiful it is and what a gorgeous, unique color it is. Trying these two blushes has made me so much more curious about trying more face powders from Suku. They're releasing a summer collection, and one of the products in there seems like a very beautiful either natural bronzer or a finishing powder. It has this like marbled effect, a bit like an hourglass powder, so I'm extremely curious about it. And I'm also very curious about one of their pure color blushes, the ones that have the ombre gradient in them. It's an orange color, I don't remember the number or the name, but it looks very beautiful. I do, however, feel like it is your moral obligation to keep me at check, to spank my hands if necessary, and forbid me to buy more blush, because since the beginning of last year, so since the beginning of 2021, I have bought 1, 2, plus 5, 7, plus 2, 9, and maybe I'm missing some, 10, together with Alyssa Eldridge. I've bought at least 10 blushes. How many blushes does a person need in their collection? And that's 10 blushes I've just brought into my collection in the past less than 2 years. Anyway, I'm going to highlight using my beautiful Golden Nectar highlighter from Pat McGrath. Probably the most used highlighter in my collection. And I don't know if you noticed, but we were joined by Mona. Hey beauty, you're going to settle for a little nap here with your mama. Cutie here slept in my feet the absolute whole night. Yesterday my husband and my son went to grandma's house so that my husband could work from there and she can look after Nicola because it's usually her day with him. And I was at work all day, and then I came home and Lisa came immediately to greet me, but Houdini here wasn't at home, and I suffer from very severe PTSD, so when she doesn't show up within a few minutes of me, you know, waking up or coming back from work or coming home from whatever, I freak out. So I was mildly freaking out yesterday when she didn't show up in the first 10 minutes after I got home, so I went to look for her. I'm now going to spritz my sponge with a Fix Plus to set my face, and I thought, okay, I'm not going to allow myself to freak out just yet. And then I was outside in our backyard, I think I was cleaning up a few things, and then all of a sudden she meowed from inside the house. She really is Houdini, she just manifests magically from somewhere. And I'm pretty sure she came out from outside because her fur was still fresh and cold from outside. So it wasn't as if she was hiding somewhere in the house and she just decided to come downstairs a bit later. No, she did show up from outside. No idea where she came from. She does truly live up to her Houdini status, which is a nickname that one of you gave to her, and I completely agree with you, Lydia. She is a little Houdini. Anyway, let's proceed on to the eye look, and I'm going to cheat even more, and I'm actually going to grab Statuesque first because I don't want to put something super dark and dramatic through my crease. I just want to blend out my crease with something that makes sense, and to me that would be Statuesque, which I have in a single. Oh, also, all of a sudden, today, Mother is dropping a new kit which contains a new triochrome eyeshadow called VR Sextra Galactic. I want to say it's called Sextra Galactic. And the kit contains a bunch of really useless things plus the eyeshadow. And I will probably buy the whole kit just for that eyeshadow because it's in her baked formula. And it is a beautiful turquoise shade. And I'm very curious what exactly type of duochromes it shifts into. But the rest of the kit is her black pencil, the one that I showed in my previous video, and I said that I purchased last year in another kit and I have used twice since then. And it contains another one of those stupid eyeglosses. I still have the eyegloss from last year right here with dust on it because I never use it. It's brand new. I tried to sell it, nobody wanted to take it off my hands. I might try to sell it again on Vinted because I only tried to sell it on our local eBay, which is called Marktplaats, and there were no takers for Pet's eyegloss here in the Netherlands, so I will have to try my luck on more international grounds. Technically you're not allowed to sell used makeup, but somehow I hear from a lot of people that they're selling used makeup, and in the case of those eyeglasses they will be brand new because I ain't using an eyeglass, okay? That is just not practical for my day-to-day life. So the eyeshadow that I really wanted to take from the Mini Subversive palette is this one here that I don't know the name of. Euphoria. This is the shade Euphoria. It is a matte like plum mauve eyeshadow. I don't use this shade very often and I remember it not being my favorite matte from Pat McGrath, so I would actually really like to try it again today. I'm just going to take this on a, what's this one called again? Crease Pro from Sonia G. It's one of my favorite brushes to use when I want something a bit more diffuse in my outer corner. And like I said, I'm probably going to be a fool and purchase that new kit just for the trichrome shade because it looks absolutely gorgeous and I'm a fool for Pat McGrath. I don't know why I remember this shade being difficult or anything. It's actually applying really well and it's a really beautiful and like more subtle shade of plum. Next I'm going to grab Intensifies from Pat McGrath and I'm going to apply that all over the lid and in my inner corner, and I'm just going to use my finger to take a little bit from Intensifies and just pack it on here on my lid. And I think this may be the extent to which we use the La Vie en Rose palette. It was just really for that purple eyeshadow. Because now I'm going to go back into the Subversive and I'm going to take this beautiful magenta purple shade here, which is called Night Creature. And I'm just going to apply it all over my lids. It is a beautiful, really stunning shade. And I did a pet pairing with this palette and I want to say Interstellar Icon in the summer. And it was one of my favorite looks that I had done for a pet pairing. This shade is just so incredibly stunning. I'm going to lightly blend here, and now I remember why I was struggling with that purple shade in the La Vie en Rose palette. I don't know whether you guys can see, but that shade came off and is already looking super fucking patchy. Look at that. It's really, really dry. Already when I received it, it just felt very odd and very dry. So I think something is wrong with this eyeshadow in my palette, unfortunately. It's a gorgeous shade, but it is one that is giving me a little bit of trouble. I'm going to leave it at that, and I hope it's not going to fade too much throughout the day, because this is actually quite fucking annoying. Anyway, the next shadow I'm going to go into is the champagne one, and I'm going to apply it as a very light layer, mostly here into my tear duct, and then take it lightly here in the inner corner, but you don't have to take it too far in, because I'm going to layer VR Pink over top of that, and I just really want VR Pink to shine. So now I'm going to use the same brush and dip into this beautiful shade here. This is the shade VR Pink, and I'm going to basically take VR Pink all over my inner corners here, as well as over top of Night Creature, because it will give Night Creature a beautiful, like, sort of golden duochrome and some extra magenta pink sparkles. It will just make it even a bit more vibrant, because on its own Night Creature is a somewhat deeper shade, but with VR Pink over top it just kind of shines. Just as a little suggestion, another really beautiful combination to do with this look would be, instead of applying VR Pink, to go with this shade here, which I don't remember the name of, but it's a beautiful purple blue duochrome, and this layered over top of Night Creature would look absolutely delicious. But it just doesn't fit with my whole like warm toned vibe today, which is why I'm not going to do anything with this shade. But if you wanted to switch this look up and give it a completely different vibe, you should layer this shade over top of Night Creature. And I noticed something very interesting the other day when I did my very smoky eye look using the gray shade. I actually applied a little bit of Intensifies all over my lower lash line, and then I went in with all the eyeshadows, and I noticed that I felt like my outer corners smudged significantly less because of that. So what I want to do today is try again to apply Intensifies on my lower lash line, just starting all the way here from the outer edge of my eye, in order to apply the next shade. And I'm going to come back and tell you whether it really made a significant difference for especially my outer corners, because what usually happens to me when I wear a dark smoky eye is that here in the outer corner stuff starts to smudge around midday, and I really have to like go and check and fix that. But it got me really off guard when I had a whole day of meetings. I didn't really have that much time to go and fix my makeup, but I went to the bathroom in between, and I was very taken aback by how good that smoky eye looked like. There was like a tiny bit of smudging, but nothing too concerning. So I'm going to try it again today. I want to put in a little bit more of like a brown element to fit a little bit better with my clothing for the day. So I'm going to go into this shade, the shade Lazarus, and apply that all over the lower lash line. I'm going to blend my lower lash line using this little blending brush here. And I don't know whether you noticed, but I had a little bit left of VR Pink on my brush here, so I just popped that here underneath my brow, because I think it gives a very nice otherworldly effect. Okay, you guys, so with this look we are closing off the week of Subversive. I really hope that you enjoyed it and you got some inspiration from it, and especially for those of you who just recently purchased the Subversive palette, I wish you a fabulous time with it. Just to let you know what I put on my lips, I have a little bit of the H&M cream lipstick in the shade Charmed Life. I really love to use this lipstick with this specific dress because I feel like it just complements it so nicely. Don't forget to let me know what you thought about this look. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you very, very soon. Bye!